Hi, my name is Tiffany Yvonne Cox. I am one of the executive producers, writers, and actors for our web series called Commune. And I'm here today with Jay Connor, who is one of the creators of the podcast called The Extraordinary Negroes. And he most recently just did an event called An Extraordinary Evening for Podcasters of Color. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Tiffany.
So, tell our audience, what is The Extraordinary Negroes?
The Extraordinary Negroes is a multimedia platform that I founded in 2016, and what we do is we basically take relevant issues within our community and we inject humor to kind of make them more palpable.
How did you all come up with this idea?
The impetus behind it was myself moving out here in 2014, being a writer, struggling to kind of hit my stride. I kind of was studying what made people successful. A lot of times what happens is they become a thing. So like if I'm popular, it'll afford me more opportunities to do other things that I wanted to do. So I figured, what's the easiest, cheapest, fastest way I can become popular? And I was a big fan of podcasts, and I saw that it was trending upwards, so I created one, and it blew up. Our first episode had like 15,000 downloads, which for a new show is like insane. So then once I started pitching to different publications or talking to, development execs or whoever else about my work, they already knew who I was.
How is your voice different than other podcasts that we might hear?
I would say that what separates us from everybody is like the presentation. I wanted to create basically like a truncated version of like a morning show. And I specifically do that so that people are aware that like we're not just podcasters. We're actually writers. We're actually do all these other things. I don't know any other show you're going to hear people talking about like financial literacy or all these really heavy topics.
You guys talking about Bitcoin, get a whole segment on, was it Wakoinda?
Yeah. So just really just trying to educate people, but at the same time just, make it entertaining.
I had the amazing privilege to be at An Extraordinary Evening for Podcasters of Color. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.
For those who didn't get a chance to be there, can you explain what exactly was it?
Extraordinary Evening, that's never happened before. There's never been an event of that magnitude, of that scope, to have that level of support and to have that level of resources that specifically caters to people of color. Having a panel in which we specifically addressed the needs and concerns of the podcasting community, specifically for people of color. And we had myself, I moderated it. We had Paulina Lopez of Super Mamas, who is amazing person. John Asante, who's a senior producer at Stitcher, which is obviously one of the biggest podcasting companies in existence. Sam Sanders, a host of NPR's It's Been a Minute. I also had Sean Lau, who's the host of No Totally. Then we also concluded it with a Q&A with the audience.
Where did the idea come from for that?
We go to these events and I'm always the token black guy, or I'm always, one of five in 500. And I just got more and more annoyed, and I just thought, why is it that these events don't exist for us? Why don't we do something for us? So I really spent about 5-6 months just making sure that I was on the scene. I was everywhere. I was helping other people out.
Right.
I was building up that cachet so that when it was time for me to put in that call, they were willing to support what it was that I was doing.
So what have you seen community-wise come from this?
One of the biggest things that you can do in creating progress in any industry that you're in is network. And a lot of times what happens is, since we don't go to these events because we don't feel like we belong, we lose out on those resources and that information, that ability to network. I did my job. If y'all didn't exchange business cards, that's on you. But at the very least, I put everybody in the same room. I'll be speaking at YouTube HQ next month. I'll be hosting the official podcast meetup at South by Southwest in March. I definitely have plans to do future events, but I really want to do one soon centered on mental health for creatives.
Where can we find you on social media? You
can find me at Death to Adverbs. Death as in die as in you're dead. Death. And you can find Extraordinary Negroes at The Extra Negroes, which is Twitter, Instagram, and you can find my company, Extraordinary Ideas, at Some Extra Ideas. Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Y'all can find him. There's a lot of different places, so run that back and you'll see it. Thank you so much for talking with me today.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.